This proves there is an agenda against the Indiana Fever. There is an attack agenda.
Last season, Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the WNBA. She turned it upside down. Records shattered, arenas sold out, and suddenly every highlight reel had her name stamped all over it. She was the league's golden goose, the player everyone came to see, the one the W was supposed to protect at all costs. But here's the crazy part. 2 games into this new season, and it feels like nothing has changed. The dirty fouls, still here. The refs swallowing their whistles, still here. The cheap shots? Oh, they're not just here. They're louder.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected.
This is another year and another case of WNBA referees not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
We watched Caitlin hacked in the face, knocked to the floor, and stared down like she'd just stolen somebody's car keys. And instead of protecting her, the refs decided to hand her a technical. A tech. That's like punishing Superman for getting hit with kryptonite. And let's be real, if this had happened to anyone else, the call would have been instant. Replay center buzzing, commentators screaming, fans losing their minds on Twitter. But when it's Caitlin, suddenly everybody's blind. Guess those whistles come with an on-off switch. But here's where it gets even juicier. Because this wasn't just another preseason game. This was a preview of the storm that's coming. Injuries, technicals, fouls that could have ended a career. And yet, Caitlin kept fighting.
One of the worst missed calls I think I've ever seen in basketball.
Kept dishing dimes, kept bearing threes like nothing could break her. And now she's headed straight into battle against her biggest rival, Angel Reese. The matchup everyone's been waiting for. If tonight's fouls had you shaking your head, just wait until those 2 lock eyes on opening night. That's not just a game, that's a collision course. So sit back, grab your popcorn, and get ready, because this isn't just basketball. This is Caitlin Clark versus the world. Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie-turned-sophomore. She's the WNBA's ticket seller, headline maker, and walking highlight machine. Every time she steps on the court, ticket prices jump, jerseys fly off shelves, and ESPN can't stop talking about her. The league knows this. The fans know this. Even her rivals know this. And yet, the way she's being treated, you'd think she was a rookie still trying to earn her stripes. The hits she's taking are next-level dirty. We're talking full-contact, NFL-style fouls that make you wonder if the refs are watching the same game.
This happens a lot. There's a lot of times that guards are working the defenders off of them, especially if a defender has a hand on their side, on their jersey, on their arm, anything. You are allowed to kind of swipe and get the defenders off of you.
Case in point, Fever versus Dream. Caitlin drives into the paint, takes a clear hack to the face, goes down hard, and what happens? No whistle, nothing. Just a cold stare from Ryan Howard standing over her like it was some WWE takedown. Fans online didn't hold back either. One person tweeted, "If this was anyone else, refs would have stopped the game and handed out a flagrant." Another said, "Protect your star or don't complain when ratings drop." And honestly, they've got a point. This isn't just about a bad call, it's about the league's willingness or unwillingness to protect the very player who's carrying their spotlight.
Team, she's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league, and she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
But here's the thing, Caitlin isn't the type to fold. Instead of whining, she got up, dusted herself off, and answered the only way she knows how, by torching the Dream with step-back threes and laser dimes. Still, the question hangs in the air. How long can she keep taking these hits before something serious happens? Because what came next showed us that the drama wasn't slowing down. It was only getting started. The game against Atlanta didn't just start with drama, it was drama from the jump. Kelsey Mitchell wasted no time showing off her bag, faking defenders like she was auditioning for a magic show. Natasha Howard hit a soft hook that looked so smooth, you'd think she practiced it in her sleep. And Caitlin? Yeah, she was already pulling up from the parking lot like it was a casual warm-up shot. But Atlanta wasn't backing down. Rookie Tahina Pow Pow, yes, that's her real name, not a sound effect, answered with fearless drives that had the home crowd buzzing. Back and forth they went, trading buckets like kids swapping candy at recess. Then it happened, the moment that sent fans into a frenzy. Caitlin Clark picked up her very first technical foul of the season. And the reason? Talking back to the refs. Shocking, right? A player actually showing emotion. Who knew that was a crime? But here's the best part. Caitlin didn't pout. She didn't sit there sulking. Instead, she channeled her frustration the only way she knows how, by burying a step-back three so cold it might as well have come with a weather warning. One fan even posted, "Caitlin's step-back just made me put on a sweater. I'm freezing." Still, Atlanta had no intention of rolling over. Pow Pow came right back, crossing Caitlin so bad the arena gasped like they'd just seen a horror movie jump scare. For a second, you'd think Caitlin was the rookie and Tahina was the superstar. The first half ended with the Fever barely holding a 42-40 lead, and it already felt like we were watching a playoff game, not a preseason warm-up. Dirty fouls, highlight plays, rookies trading blows with veterans. This wasn't basketball, this was chaos disguised as competition. But little did anyone know, the real scare of the night was waiting just around the corner. Just when the Fever seemed like they were finding their rhythm, disaster nearly struck. Midway through the third, Sophie Cunningham went up for a rebound, came down awkwardly, and twisted her ankle after landing on an Atlanta player's foot. The whole arena went silent. For a split second, it looked bad, like season-changing bad. Fans held their breath, Caitlin rushed over, and you could almost hear every Fever supporter thinking the same thing. Not now. Not before opening night. Here's why it mattered so much. Sophie isn't just another role player. She's one of Caitlin's closest on-court allies, the kind of teammate who dives for loose balls, takes charges, and does all the dirty work nobody wants to do. Losing her before the season even started would have been like ripping out a chunk of the Fever's backbone. Thankfully, Coach Christy Sides gave everyone a sigh of relief afterward, saying it wasn't serious and Sophie would be good to go by opening night. Crisis averted. But the scare was real. And let's be honest, this wasn't just a bad luck fall, it was a reminder of how fragile things are right now. The Fever can't afford to lose anyone, especially not the glue players who make Caitlin's job easier. But before fans could even process Sophie's near injury, the game erupted again because the third quarter wasn't about close calls. It was about chaos, controversy, and a foul on Caitlin Clark that had everyone fuming. If you thought the first half was heated, the third quarter turned into straight-up warfare. The Fever tried to pull away with clean ball movement and sharp shooting, but Atlanta wasn't going anywhere. Big, burly Brianna Jones muscled her way inside for back-to-back buckets, reminding everyone why they call the paint the trenches. And Ryan Howard, she was launching threes like she got paid by the attempt, but then came the moment that had fans absolutely losing it. Caitlin Clark drove hard into the lane, absorbed contact straight to the face, and went crashing to the floor. Obvious foul, right? You didn't even need slow motion replay. It was clear as day, but instead of a whistle, what did we get? Nothing. Silence. Crickets. And as Caitlin's lying there, Ryan Howard literally stands over her, staring down like a movie villain after landing the knockout punch. The crowd gasped, fans at home fumed, and Twitter exploded. One fan wrote, "How does the WNBA expect to protect its stars if Caitlin can get punched in the face with no call?" Another joked, "Refs must have left their glasses at home." Even Fever players were visibly furious. You could see the frustration boiling, not just from the foul itself, but from the bigger picture. How many times is Caitlin supposed to take hits like this without the ref stepping in? But here's the thing about Caitlin. She doesn't need sympathy whistles. She doesn't cry to the refs. She just gets up and makes you pay. Seconds later, she launched a full-court dime to her teammate for an easy bucket, as if to say, "Keep hitting me. I'll still beat you." It was a statement, a warning, and a reminder that no matter how much the refs try to swallow their whistles, Caitlin's game speaks louder than anything else. And yet, as the Fever stars took a breather late in the third, nobody could have predicted who was about to steal the spotlight. With Caitlin and the starters catching their breath, it looked like the Fever might finally lose control of the game. Atlanta smelled blood, the crowd was fired up, and momentum was swinging fast. But then, out of nowhere, a new hero emerged. Lexi Hull. Now, if you're not a hardcore Fever fan, you might not even know her name. But on this night, she turned into the Dream's worst nightmare. She started the fourth by slipping behind defenders for a clean cut to the basket. Then she followed it up with a mid-range jumper so smooth, it could have been bottled and sold as lotion. And she wasn't done. The very next possession, she fearlessly drove through traffic, finished the bucket, and drew the foul. The crowd went silent. But Fever fans? They were losing their minds. It was like Lexi had suddenly activated MJ mode. 3 minutes ago, she was just another rotation player. Now she was carrying the fever like she'd been waiting for this her entire career. By the time she drilled a dagger jumper off a pin-down screen, Atlanta's hopes were cooked. In the fourth quarter alone, Lexi dropped 11 of her 14 points. 11! That's not just stepping up, that's seizing the spotlight like it was hers all along. Meanwhile, Caitlin finished with a quieter stat line: 13 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, but her fingerprints were still all over the game. Her leadership set the tone, her dimes created opportunities, and her presence opened up the floor for teammates like Lexi to shine. The final buzzer sounded, Fever 81, Dream 76. Unbeaten preseason, statement made. But the win wasn't the only story here, because the Fever weren't just celebrating a W, they were showing the league that this team runs deeper than just Caitlin Clark. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous. When the final horn went off, it wasn't just another notch in the win column. It was a statement. The Indiana Fever closed out the preseason undefeated, and they didn't do it leaning on just one player. Across 3 games, they had 3 different scoring leaders, 3 different rebounding leaders, and a level of ball movement that looked more like a championship contender than a team still rebuilding. This wasn't last year's Fever, scrambling to survive. This was a team with depth, chemistry, and an identity. You could see it in every possession. Players trusting each other, whipping the ball around the perimeter, cutting hard without hesitation. Shot clock violations weren't happening to the Fever. They were happening because of the Fever's defense suffocating opponents. Coach Christy Sides summed it up best after the game. We're a deep team and everyone's bought in. It might not look perfect right away, but we know where this group can be by season's end, and she's right. This wasn't just about Caitlin Clark lighting it up from deep. It wasn't just about Kelsey Mitchell cooking defenders. It wasn't just about Lexi Hull turning into the closer nobody saw coming. This was about an entire roster finally clicking into place. But let's not sugarcoat it. While the Fever's chemistry looks promising, the real test hasn't even started yet. Because next up is the matchup that everyone's been waiting for. As impressive as the Fever's preseason was, all eyes are locked on what's next. Because opening night isn't just any matchup, it's Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. If you've followed basketball at all the past 2 years, you know this isn't just a rivalry, it's the rivalry. From college battles that broke TV records to trash talk that had social media melting down, these two have been linked like Batman and the Joker. Only this time, the stage is bigger, the lights are brighter, and the stakes are higher. Fans are already circling the date, circling the tweets, circling the drama. And if the fouls Caitlin took against Atlanta made you shake your head, just wait until Angel steps on the court. You know she's not backing down. You know she's bringing the heat. And you know the refs are going to be tested from the opening tip. For Caitlin, this isn't just another game. It's the first chance to show the league that she can't be bullied, can't be rattled, and won't back down. For Angel, it's about proving that she's more than just a rival. She's a superstar in her own right. And for the rest of us, it's pure entertainment. Drama, fouls, threes from the logo, and maybe even a little trash talk for dessert. This isn't basketball, it's a showdown. So buckle up, because opening night might just set the tone for the entire WNBA season. So what did we learn from all this? The Indiana Fever are no longer just a one-star show. With Lexi Hull stepping up, Kelsey Mitchell steady as ever, and Sophie Cunningham grinding it out, this team finally looks dangerous. The chemistry is real, the depth is real, and the confidence growing by the game. But here's the thing. None of it matters if the league doesn't protect its biggest star. Caitlin Clark is the reason arenas are selling out, the reason viewership is spiking, the reason the WNBA is breaking into conversations it's never been part of before. She is the draw. And yet, 2 games in, she's already taken hits that could have ended nights, maybe even seasons. No whistles, no protection, just shrugs. That's not just a bad look, it's a dangerous one. Because Caitlin's tough. She'll keep getting up, keep hitting threes, keep firing full-court dimes. But the question is, how long can the league afford to gamble with its golden goose? That's the story heading into opening night. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, the superstar rivalry that's bigger than basketball, one that could either elevate the WNBA to new heights or expose its biggest flaws on the brightest stage. Either way, one thing's guaranteed, you won't want to miss it. And hey, before you click away, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and drop a comment. Who do you think takes the first battle, Caitlin or Angel? Because if you don't, yeah, you already know. 100 spiders on your bed tonight.